Today I'm going to do a macro tutorial using one of these and some of these. Hi, I'm Mick Sadler, and today I've got a Canon 550D and a set of extension tubes. Now these extension tubes are bought locally, and the idea is that they fit between the camera and the lens to allow you to focus much closer than you normally would. So this helps by not having to buy a macro lens. The extension tubes come in three sizes: 13mm, 21mm and 31mm. Now these are unbranded extension tubes and can be bought anywhere. The important thing is that when you attach them to your camera, they will alter the aperture on the lens. That's quite important, as if you make an adjustment to your camera, you need the extension tube to alter the aperture in your lens. We're taking a picture of these daffodils today, and it's the wind is playing quite a big part, so we need to wait till the wind settles a little bit to get our shot. So with this we've decided to go with 125th for the exposure with f18. Now we're using f18 to give us maximum depth of field. We're also using 800 ISO, which is as far as I want to push this little camera, and we can achieve quite good results. First of all, we're going to see how close we can get using the standard lens. That's quite close that we can get. Now we're going to add in the 31mm extension tube and see how close we can get now. Again, you can see the vast difference that you can get, and I'm going to pull back a bit. I'm sat on a small tripod, and we're going to sit and pick off our shots. We also have an LED light that comes with a lot of adapters that will screw to the front of the lens, and then the adapter clips onto that, and the main unit will sit onto your flash shoe. You can adjust the power of this, and you can adjust whether it flashes or whether or not it's just a continuous light. If it's flashing, you can choose left or right. Always really like to have the lights full blast, as it's not a great deal of power, not as much as you would get with the flash unit. Now, if we switch the light on, this does give a lot more light, and we can then focus up, and it will give us a much better aperture. Right, we're into Lightroom 4 now, and this is the picture we've selected and what we've ended up with. And I'm going to run through stage by stage just how we get there. It's a great idea, extension tubes, and you can try these on any of your lenses and have a play. Right, let's get started here. We go back to the original as it come out of the camera. So this is the original that we've ended up with, and in the basic panel, the exposure, if you have a look at the histogram, there is a gap there, but I'm not too stressed out with that at all now, because the main bulk of it's yellow. So we're going to go into the highlights, and we're going to try and increase a bit add to any highlights that are showing. And the shadows we're going to try and open up. There's not a lot of shadows on this, but you can see it does make a little bit of a difference. And then we're going to go into the whites and the bright area. You can see above where the histogram has moved to the right, so that's quite good. Now blacks, not really blacks in there, but I'm going to take this blacks back. Now we come down to clarity, which is one of my favourite things. So we're going to up the clarity. This adds to the sort of contrast and bump of the whole lot. We're going to leave, because this is mainly yellow, we're going to leave the vibrance on its own, and we're going to increase saturation a little bit. We're up to 21 now, so that's not bad. That's looking quite good. Right, we're going from the basic panel into the tone curve, and at the moment it's linear. You have several choices here. You can choose different channels if you want, but we're going for the RGB, and we're just going to choose one of these presets, which is the medium contrast. And you can see the difference in the image there. That's linear and that's medium. So this tone curve can be altered about. You can alter this to as you want. So for instance, you wanted more in the shadows, you could bring that back, or you could bring that back anyway. Anyway, that would be a custom, but we're just going to go for the standard medium curve. Next we're going to go into the detail. Now the detail covers sharpening, and I always like to bring the sharpening up to, well, we're on 175 now, which is about right. The radius at 1 and the detail at 25, I don't tend to touch that. Now with the masking, if you hold down the Alt key and press the masking button, you'll see it goes clear. And as we drag it up, we can drag different amounts of detail. And the bits that are showing are the bits that we are going to be sharpening. So I'm going to leave it there on 58, release the Alt button, and so that has sharpened those edges. Next, because we was on 800 ISO, we're going to boost the luminance noise reduction a little bit. I'm leaving the detail on 50 and the contrast on 0. If you've got colour problems, colour grain, you can also move this slider, but we're going to leave that be at the moment. We're now going into the effects panel, and this really is something I like to do, which is to concentrate the eye. See, this corner is quite light, so we're going into make these corners slightly darker, and to do that we move the effects tab, the amount. So I'm going to take that to about 20, and this is darkening the corners, and the midpoint I want to open up slightly, so that pushes away from the center. If I bring it all the way back, you'll see that it will bring that in. So we're going to take that out to about 60. I'm also going to a feather which softens that edge, so we're going to go up to 72. So we've made a difference there, and if I switch that off, you can see the corners are getting filled in. Now we're choosing highlight priority here, and there are several other ones to choose from. I find the highlight priority seems to work the best sort of way. We can go up here into this panel at the top to make some small adjustments. The say for instance we want to get rid of this spot, we choose the spot reduction tool, and again we can use the bracket keys to make this bigger or smaller. So we'll select that, and it's sampled from a different area. You can move this about to sample from another area. So we can go around any spots we've got. There's one down here, we're going to get rid of this one. If I bring my cursor off, you can see that those spots are now gone. We've got the gradation tool here. If I click on that, you'll see that we've got all these different sliders to affect. And what we're going to do, we're going to put in this half stop of, just over half stop of darkening of the exposure to see what happens, and we'll show you this, and we'll drag in a gradated vignette from this side. You can see how it darkens up that left hand side. So if I take the saturation right down, the saturation was showing up a little bit, then if I click on and click off, you'll see the difference. Another thing up the top here is the crop tool, and we haven't cropped this at all, but if you want to, this may lead itself to a square composition. So we press X on the keyboard, this will reverse our composition. We can click this little padlock here and we can click it open. We can drag on these little handles. So maybe a squarish type, double click that to make that show. A squarish format might be better. There we are, that's our little tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I've tried to show you some of the things in Lightroom. Lightroom 5 is due out, we don't know when, but there's some nice added things in there that we will be able to use. Till next time, from Mick Sadler, goodbye.